All right, Gen V is done. Second season is over. I want to go ahead and give my thoughts on it, guys. So, when the boys came out, I was kind of reluctant to watch it. I was like, man, more superhero stuff, what is Prime doing? And around the time they also came out with a Netflix series called like Jupiter Legacy, which wasn't bad, but there was just all this superhero and all these different studios trying to make something of their own. Now, I never heard of The Boys. I never knew that it derived from like a comic book. So after listening to my father, he's like, hey, you gotta watch The Boys, man. The Boys it's nuts. I can't even explain it. It's just nuts. Okay. So I ended up watching the first season. Now, the first season was already done by the time I got a chance to join into it. So started out, man, literally after the first 15 minutes, I was like, holy crap. Holy crap, this show is nuts, right? And then the way that first episode ended, the translucent guy, I mean, I was like, I am bought in. I'm bought into this series, and what a great series it's been, I wasn't too stoked about the ending of season 4, the last season they did. It was a kind of a lot of passing time, I guess you could say, this season, because the end game is coming, with season 5 already being officially announced as the final last season of The Boys. But from The Boys, we've got some pretty cool spin-offs, One, there was a animated series that they did with it was like an anthology series called Diabolical, right? So you're a fan of animation, you're a fan of The Boys, some of the characters, check it out. It's pretty cool. But one that blew up called Gen V, which is about the college students that they're pretty much like the first generation of like naturally born with V, right? Or given V, and it's just it's just a spin on words for college. It's the college kids, right? So, and they're at this place called God U, and it's short for Godolkin. But if the first season came, and it has a lot of that college and that high school kind of drama stuff, but still very entertaining, very fun, and wild as can be. And they introduced us to some pretty cool characters that, I mean, let's face it, I think are going to play a huge part in the end game, or that's how I took it when I was watching season 1. Well, then we got a season 2, which I was even more pumped for because, like I said, I enjoyed season 1. I enjoyed The Boys. I love what Eric Kripke has done with this universe, and Prime has done with this universe, right? Well, season 2 is out. We got the first 3 episodes, which I thought were kind of but we got revealed with some cool characters. But just to go ahead and and give my opinion on season 2. It was hit and miss. It was hit and miss for me. I thought there was some cool moments, but there was just a lot of like, hey, let's just throw some stuff in here. Let's get to the end, right? And I felt that it was rushed. I felt that it was extremely rushed. I think that this is the last season of the show because the way this series ended, spoilers, we got pretty big cameo from 2 of characters from The Boys, and pretty much asking the characters to come and join the resistance, right? Which means, hey, join The Boys. So, some really cool stuff this season too. We got introduced to a really cool villain, I thought, and total twist. Second to last episode. So if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil that for you. But really cool villains. We got introduced to some other heroes, or not necessarily heroes, but other individuals, new characters with some interesting powers and different arcs. And we also got some really big cameos this season. But like I said, it's still a good series, great series overall. But I did not enjoy. I didn't think season 2 was as good as it could have been. I did feel it was rushed. I felt that they were like, you know, hey, we're going to do one more season of this, and it's going to tie into The Boys, and everything's going to end in season 5. Which I don't know. I thought they possibly could have continued this, even with The Boys ending. You still have a Gen V. You got these this new generation of heroes. You know, so I thought it would have been interesting to keep it going, especially with how popular The Boys is, and the writers that they have on these shows have been really good. You know, but just like The Boys, you know, with the last season, you had some really great moments. But we also had some moments that are just really forgettable, you know, or it was just like passing time, I guess, in a way. Versus, you know, I'll be honest with you, those first 3 seasons of The Boys. Season 3 was the peak. Season 3 was one of the better television series, you know, we've gotten in a while, you know, just a season of television. It was awesome. Introducing of Soldier Boy, and it was just absolutely nuts. Great season. So I know it was going to be hard to top that, you know, but interesting enough, and I am going to dive into some spoilers here. So, hey, for anybody who hasn't seen it, you got my review. I liked it, but I didn't love it. Go and watch it if you haven't finished it or haven't seen it yet. But I am going to dive into some spoilers here for season 2. So if you don't want anything spoiled, go ahead and click off. But for those who have seen it and want to continue to listen, and we're going to dive into some spoilers here. The cameo that we got at the end, you know, Starlight, who goes by Annie now, and then we got A-Train. You know, now season 4 ended with A-Train, you know, pretty much leaving the 7 and joining the Resistance. He was already starting to turn a little bit, just kind of his character arc, right? But he's had enough of it, you know. So with the things that Homelander is doing, he didn't agree with, and he stayed to try to get some information, help the boys out, but he is now fully a part of the Resistance, the boys. The characters we got left to join, and who they asked to join, we got Maria. You know, Marie. Powers, control blood, nut, right? She's going to be a huge part. You got Jordan, which is the lady boy. You can switch back and forth. And then you also got the girl. I forgot her name, man. I'm terrible with names here. I believe Annie. No, that Annie's the Starlight. But the girl who turned big, small. You also got Puppet Boy. It's Sam. So, I mean, they got it. There's a group here of some really strong heroes to be able to fight against Homelander. And I'm pumped for that, man. So season 5, like I said, I liked it, didn't love it. Liked season 4 of The Boys, didn't love it. Season 5, I have high expectations. I do have high expectations for season 5. You're introducing some real powerful characters from Gen V. So now you got heroes versus heroes. Man, or you got powers versus powers. Man, I'm pumped for what season 4 is going to bring, or season 5 is going to bring for the boys. You know, if you think about it, they got their own 7 versus, you know, Homelander and his 7. So, another great character, cameo, Black Noir. Seeing Black Noir in Gen V was pretty cool. And it feels weird, Black Noir talking, right? Versus the old one who just didn't talk. So, really cool stuff. There is some cool things in this season. The villain, I thought, was probably the best part of this season. We had Hasim Linklicker playing Dean Cypher to start out the season. This guy who's convicted on pretty much hole in the herd is what he called it, right? Where he's like, some of these people have stupid powers. Like the one guy can stick so many things up his ass. Crazy. Stupid powers. You know, he's like, we want gods walking this earth. And as the season went on, this guy, you're like, who the hell is this guy? He's very ruthless, right? And then when we find out what his powers are, you're like, holy crap, he can just control people. That's what he does. Not necessarily, the girl, she could touch you and say, hey, go and take a shit. And you would go and take a shit. But he can literally control your entire body and make you do whatever he wants you to do and pretty much walk through your eyes. Nuts. Super cool. And then as the season progressed, you find out he's taking care of this old man, which we all think it has something to do with Thomas Godolkin himself being burnt up from experiment from 1967. So there was all this stuff, and then we find out that the old man who was all burnt up and crispy that he was taking care of happened to be Godolkin. He was controlling some dude. It was absolutely absurd. I thought it was a great twist. Great, because it was already a twist to begin with when we find out what his powers were, and just how he was always like a step ahead of him. But to even intensify that twist, you find out it was somebody else controlling him. Really nuts. And then on top of it, the way he pushed Marie to her limits and pushed her to, take her powers to maximum level. And she still has work to do, but the way that she's healing folks, it's just absolutely cool, what they've done with her character. But really cool reveals, really cool action sequences. I did feel that this season had more action than last season of Gen V. But I don't know, man. There were some really cool scenes in last season as well. But overall, guys, I liked the series. I liked it. I loved season 1. I loved The Boys. I liked season 4 of The Boys. Didn't love it. Liked season 2. Didn't love it at Gen V. But it was all built up for what's going to come with season 5. So season 5 of The Boys, you better not fucking disappoint. That's all I'm saying. I'm too pumped up for what you guys brought here and where you guys are taking it. So don't fuck it up. All right, Eric Kripke, you're my guy. Don't fuck it up. But that is my review for Gen V season 2. Really good moments, some dumb moments, good twist, cool character development. But overall, guys, I'd give this second season, if I had to give my ranking, 1 out of 5 stars, I would give it a 3.5 stars for the season 2. Overall, I'd give the season 4 out of 5 stars, but season 2 brought it down a little bit, but did build for what's to come. So I'm more excited for what they are planning than what they have done. Does that make sense? But that is my review, guys. If you haven't got a chance to watch The Boys or Gen V, go and do so. But there it is, folks. And if you haven't got a chance to like the video, please do. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more Real Rumble. Until next time, I'm G. Peace out.